312 clues have come and gone, but 26 new ones are headed your way as part of this 13th episode of Disney 100 Jeopardy. Welcome in. I'm your host, Brian Perry, and thanks so much for joining me. In last week's episode, we tested your knowledge on the Haunted Mansion, Zootopia. We even played you some film scores, and you had to guess what movie they were from. So if you haven't played last week's episode yet, go do that. Final Jeopardy was all about Disney Channel original movie taglines. That carries over to this episode. But before we show you the other categories, take a look at the all-important rules. There they are on your screen. Study them, learn them, play by them, or not. Go ahead and cheat. I won't tell anyone. I saw a comment last week that said the way this person cheats is they don't keep track of their score, and then at the end they say they have 1,000,000 points and then just wager it all. So, hey, I'm here to make you happy, so whatever makes you happy, people. With that, let's check out the cats for episode 13. Alright, we mentioned it before. First category is DCOM Taglines, Disney Channel original movie taglines. You'll have to identify which movie the tagline is attached to. Second category, Star Wars debuts. Yes, it was just May the 4th, so May the 4th be with you, and also with you. We're reading from the Holy Star Wars Gospel. I'll read you the name of a Star Wars character. You'll have to tell me which Star Wars film they first appeared in. Now, this is not in timeline order. This is in order of release of the film. So if someone was in the original trilogy and then they were in the prequels, you're going to give me the name of the film from the original trilogy. Hope that made sense. All right, moving on to category number 3. It is Disney Seas. No, not Tokyo Disney Sea. This is all about oceans and seas in Disney films. I'll show you a screenshot of an ocean, of a sea, and you'll have to name the Disney film. Fourth category, one of my favorite Pixar films ever, Coco. 5 clues all about Coco. And the fifth and final category, the highway in the sky, all about Disney Monorails. So there you have it, 5 brand new categories for episode 13. Keep those suggestions coming. Leave the comments on what you want to see, and I go through all the comments, and I'll pick a few of them for next week's episode. But for now, it is time for the cupcake round. Cue that little cupcake 200-point round graphic. There it is. And here come the easiest clues of the game. We start with DCOM Taglines for 200. They're not bad, they're just born that way. What is Descendants? Here's Star Wars' first clue. Luke Skywalker. You may have heard of him. We are looking for, you could just say Star Wars, or you could say Star Wars Episode 4, or you could say A New Hope. Any of those would work for me. Luke Skywalker, of course, first appearing in the original Star Wars movie.
But I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
Here's Disney Seas for 200. You see a ship, you see a firework. Can you name the film? What is The Little Mermaid?
Ariel, what are you? Jumping jellyfish.
Here's Coco for 200. The film's main character. He rocks the red hoodie and he's the only living being, along with his dog, in the land of the dead. His name is Miguel. Who is Miguel? And finally, it's Monorails to wrap up the cupcake round. The 3 hotels the Walt Disney World monorail connects to. So you know the Walt Disney World monorail stops at Epcot, Magic Kingdom, and the Transportation and Ticket Center. But in terms of the deluxe resorts, we are looking for what is Grand Floridian, what is Contemporary, and what is the Polynesian Resort. So that's going to do it for the 200-point round. 1,000 points were possible. I guess negative 1,000 points was possible too. Hopefully you didn't go 0 for 5. But if you did, it's okay. It's okay. Have faith. Here comes a 400-point round. DCOM Taglines, once again. Too cool for rules. Stars Hilary Duff. What is Cadet Kelly. Here's Star Wars debuts for 4. Yoda. Yoda is first seen in Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back.
Put that down. Now Hey! It's my dinner!
Disney Sees Now for 4. Here's a shot from the film. Can you name it? You could see the Sydney Harbor in the distance. The film, Finding Nemo. What is Finding Nemo?
You were right, Dory! We made it! We're gonna find my son!
Back to Coco for 400. The film's Oscar-winning song. Grab the tissue box. What is Remember Me? Ooh. Coco, probably the most emotional Disney Pixar animated movie I've ever seen, honestly, if I'm being serious. There may have been a few tears shed in the theater. Now on to Monorails for 400. Please stand clear of the doors is followed by this iconic phrase spoken in Spanish. Mispronunciation is okay, people. Don't be shy. What is, por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas?
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
All right, that's going to do it for round number 2. Moving on to the 600-point round now. Things getting a little harder. DCOM for 6. Royalty meets reality. Starring Demi Lovato, what is Princess Protection Program? Back to Star Wars, third clue. Rose. We are looking for what is Episode 8, The Last Jedi.
I saved you.
I'm gonna bite my tongue here and not say how I truly feel about that garbage film. Moving on, Disney Seas 600. That's another ship. What's the film though? What is Peter Pan?
Story of a boy who never grows up and a magical journey to a land where dreams come true.
Oh, Peter, you saved my life!
Here's Coco for 600. The film's lovable dog, who becomes more than a dog by the movie's end. Who is Dante? Remember Dante? He's got the tongue hanging out. And finally, Monorails rounds out round 3. This city ended up utilizing 2 old Disneyland monorail trains on its own monorail system that connected luxury hotels. The correct answer is, what is Las Vegas? That's right, one of my favorite American cities got to utilize old Disneyland monorail trains when it built a monorail connecting, I want to say, MGM to Bally's, if you know anything about Las Vegas. They're not used anymore, but still pretty cool that the old Disneyland monorail trains lived on in Vegas. So that's going to do it for the 600-point round. I have no idea if this is an easier episode or a harder episode. Really, I am clueless. So let me know if this was too easy or too hard. A lot of times people will say, that was the easiest one, or gosh, I did terrible in that one. So no idea. I'm clueless. So please fill me in. On to the 800-point round now. These should be harder. DCOM Taglines starts things off. Can the girl who never speaks become the voice of a generation? Correct answer is Radio Rebel. What is Radio Rebel? Here's Star Wars again. Jabba the Hutt. All right, this one's a little tricky. The true original time you saw Jabba the Hutt was in Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. He was supposed to be in the original Star Wars film. He was not in the original Star Wars film when it first came out, though he was digitally added in the 90s on a special release. So, technically the answer is Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. If you're going to be really mad at me and throw something at the TV, go ahead, cheat. I don't care. I don't care. But, Episode 6 is the correct answer.
Cover no pace, my lord.
Good morning.
Moving on now to Disney Seas for 800. Recognize this shot? Could be tricky. You might be thinking Finding Nemo or Finding Dory, but the correct answer is, what is Luca? What is Luca?
What's wrong with you, stupido?
Here's Coco for 800. Legendary Mexican artist Frida Kahlo makes an appearance in Coco while designing part of Ernesto de la Cruz's upcoming performance. Included in the rehearsal is this oversized fruit. Some might say it's just a plant, though. Correct answer is, what is a papaya?
Darkness. And from the darkness, a giant papaya. Dancers emerge from the papaya. And the dancers are all me.
And finally, Monorails for 800. The current fleet of monorail cars running at Walt Disney World made their debut in this decade. So they weren't the original trains that started in 1971, but they did make their debut in the 80s. What is the 80s? That's right, 1989. The Mach 6 monorails made their debut at Walt Disney World, and we are still running them. Okay, yeah, they're automated now and all that, but we wanted new trains. We thought we were getting them for the 50th, and we did not. That's going to do it for 4 rounds of Disney 100 Jeopardy. We're moving on to the most difficult, the daunting, the cue the music 1,000-point round. Here we go. All right, people, take a deep breath. The sun will rise tomorrow. Fear not if you do terrible in this round, but I have faith in you. Starting with DCOM Taglines for 1,000. Boys will be boys, but better. Starring a true Disney Channel star, Zendaya, the movie was Zapped. What is Zapped? Here's Star Wars' final clue. The beloved Jar Jar Binks. He made his debut in the first of the prequels, Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Saved my again.
What's this?
A local. Let's get out of here before more droids show up.
More? More did you speak?
Here's Disney Seas for 1,000. Look at that nice, still ocean. What film is it from? We're looking for Atlantis. What is Atlantis? Here's Coco for 1,000. Ernesto de la Cruz was crushed to death by a bell in this fateful year. The correct answer is what is 1942.
He lived the kind of life you dream about. Until 1942.
All right, here we go. Final clue on the board. It's Monorails for 1,000. At the ride's opening in 1959, this U.S. vice president and his family were the first passengers to ride the Disneyland monorail? The correct answer is, who is Richard Nixon?
And now, there is Vice President Nixon waiting. This is your spot, Walt. Take it away.
To open the first operative monorail system in America, it is our good fortune to have our friend and fellow Californian, the Vice President of the United States, Mr. Richard Nixon, and his charming family, Mrs. Pat Nixon, Julia, and Patricia, his daughters. Mr. Nixon, our Vice President.
Well, thank you very much, Walt. I want to say that this has really been one of the most exciting and interesting days that I've ever had in my life.
There you go, 25 clues and the board has been wiped, but one remains. Final Jeopardy. So add up all of those points you have, I'm sure you have a ton of them, and get ready to wager based on your knowledge of this Final Jeopardy category. The Muppets. Yes, a lot of you liked that. The Muppets were an answer to one of the clues from last week's episode, spoiler alert, and you wanted a category on the Muppets, which means, remember, Final Jeopardy carries over to next week. The Muppets will have their own category, but for today, it's just one clue, and it will ultimately determine how well you did. So make those wagers on how much you know about the Muppets. All right, time's up. Pens and papers and the pencils down. Let's take a look at the clue for Final Jeopardy. Known for their heckling, these two elderly Muppets can often be seen on a balcony laughing at their own commentary. Good luck. Once again, pens down. The correct answer in Final Jeopardy. Jeopardy is who are Statler and Waldorf?
This is terrible. Yeah, why did we come to this miserable place? Boo! Piss! Close this dump down! Taxi! Taxi!
Those two are hilarious, probably my favorite Muppet characters. I hope you got it right. If you didn't wager anything, then I hope you got it wrong. And if you did wager a lot and got it wrong, redemption next week, episode 14. I'll be here Sunday. That's gonna do it for episode 13 of Disney 100 Jeopardy. If you like what you saw, be sure to subscribe. Click that bell icon. Hello, bell. This way you're notified every time we come out with brand new episodes. Check out Inside 300 each and every Wednesday, where I catch you up on all the Disney news you may have missed. And then, once again, next Sunday for episode 14 of Disney 100 Jeopardy. I've been your host, Brian Perry. I'll see you next time. And, as always,
bye-bye.